Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where we examine issues affecting the Black community. So today's topic relates to why Black love matters, and this is a day two discussion from a show that we did last week on the topic. So in our last segment, Caleb was talking about the shift in demographics in which Black women are becoming more involved in business. You want to go ahead and finish that?
Yeah. So there's been a couple of articles come out that talked about how Black women are now the leading demographic in starting new businesses, and so we already know that they are the leading demographic as far as educational achievement and attainment. So the thing is, my question was, are Black men failing Black women? And so a lot of times when Black women have these educational achievements, they have these advanced degrees, they look around at these institutions and there's no compatible Black mate with the same level of education. They look around at these business functions and they're primarily Black women who are at these events that are introducing these social or networking events that are introducing these entrepreneurs to each other. And so they look around and there's all Black women in the room, and so there's no compatible Black mates. And so the question is, are Black men failing? Are we failing to further in educational achievement? Are we failing aspirationally as far as moving forward, in business? And so when again, and which relates to our subject today, as far as finding love outside of your own race. And so when the sisters look around, there's nobody there that is on the same level. And so are we failing the sisters as Black men? And so which leads me to a third question.
You gonna ask? Is that gonna be towards me?
No, it's gonna be in general, and I'm gonna get jumped on in this room. So, because it's a question in general.
Okay. Is it a barbershop question?
It's not a barbershop question. Okay. So, but the question is this: so, we live in a country that is not, it is not friendly to Black males, young Black males.
Mm-hmm.
They view young Black men as predators.
Mm-hmm.
There is a maternal or even a paternal instinct to protect your children, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My question is this, and I'm partially guilty of it. So we teach our daughters to be strong and to stand on their own, okay? I'm guilty of this. My daughter played football until she reached middle school.
Okay.
And at which time I wouldn't let her play anymore because there's a difference in testosterone and aggression and growth and muscle development. So I didn't want her to get hurt. So I stopped her at the middle school age. But prior to that, my daughter was going out there dominating the football field against boys. She was raised to understand that she can dominate against boys. When I would have my boys mowing the lawn or my daughter would go out there, she'll mow the lawn. My daughter go out there, she'll weed eat. My daughter will go out there. So when I have my boys, if I have them change a tire, I have my daughter watching. If I have my boys doing something, changing an electrical cord on a dryer or washer, my daughter's there watching. And so I wanted her to be able to do the same exact things that the boys did. So we raise our daughters to be strong. But being the country and the society we have, a lot of times boys get protected. They get overprotected. A lot of times, boys get coddled. And so when we look at a situation where girls are made to be strong and to achieve, whereas Black boys are overly protected in the society because of the structure of society, is it our fault that we coddle the boys and build the strong girls so that when the girls go out there and overachieve, they look around and there's no mate for them? Is that our fault?
Having a Black son I can see where I may have coddled him, and that's my only child.
Mm.
And so, of course, when I know that he goes to work and he has to come in late at night, I do ask him, please call me before you leave so I know how long it takes you to get home. You know, because we already know that police are a little bit more aggressive to black men and boys in the evening. So yeah, there may be an over protection of black men, black males, because of how society views them and how the police could treat them. Now, with that being said about the black female, my father told me, and maybe it's because of what he knew as a black man. He says, you make sure that you know how to take care of yourself. He said that before my mother said that. Maybe he knew that there may be a situation where I would have to take care of myself. So yeah, I know how to mow a lawn. In fact, when the going gets good, I have one of the best lawns in the neighborhood, right?
Right.
But my father instilled that in me. He said, you know how to take care of yourself. And so when you got the coddling over here and the girl told the, you know how to take care of yourself, I'm thinking that the parent, especially the black father, might know something that maybe mama doesn't know, or maybe experiences that he has undergone that to where he says, you know, this black male may not be here for you. In fact, before my father died, my father told me this. He says, Sharon, if it comes down to it, and if a white man falls in love with you, he says, I'll support it. Because my father was Renaissancean, if you will. He was seeing a lot of things that I didn't think he was seeing. So he gave me permission to find love, accept love outside of the black community. And you know, and maybe because he saw that, you know, you're doing things here to where maybe a black man may not appreciate. I don't know. But I think that, yeah, I can see the coddling. I can see, if I had a daughter, I'll probably tell her the same thing. Make sure you know how to take care of yourself.
Right.
And maybe that taking care of ourselves might have made black men see us as, well, I don't need to mess with her because she doesn't need me. It's not that we don't need you. We just know how to sustain ourselves if something happens.
Yeah. No, so that was my question, though. So we teach our daughters in a different way than we teach our sons. And so with society being the way it is and with parental instinct being what it is, you know, we want to protect our boys. No parent should ever have to bury their child. And so we protect them. So are we overprotecting them? Should we change that? Is there a way? I mean, you know, and even, you know, I'm wondering, like I say, is that the reason why black women overachieve? And when they look around, there's no mates for them. And so that's one of the questions that I'm wondering about as a society. And how do we reverse this, and how do we get it right?
I don't know whether it could be gotten right because society is getting meaner towards black folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and they're not only targeting black males. We're seeing it more and more where black women and girls are being targeted. So there may be some super protections going on now in these homes for our kids. And, you know, but I also, as I shared, that I have a niece, and they live in a mega territory. And my biggest concern for her is her ability to interact with the black community because she's not in that community where they live. And I get why they moved there. You know, they're trying to give her a better life. But we have to learn how to balance this situation because our community is under attack. They're under attack for how we love one another. They're attacking how we raise our kids. They're just attacking. So I don't know whether the coddling's going to go 50-50 now to where I'm going to coddle both my kids, my grandkids, and everything, because we're seeing the societal attacks,
Mm-hmm.
not only on Black adults, but on our kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, uh, so just my perception of that kind of situation, where you have an attack on Black women. You know what I mean? I know I've been vocal, very vocal about these attacks on the sisters. And so when you have this attack, you know, I what I've seen also is that the sisters are responding. They're stepping it up. You know what I mean? And so they're not shrinking from the attacks. They're stepping it up and say, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna organize. We're gonna. They're passing out signatures to reinstate these, and so I mean, the sisters respond to it in a different way, which I guess is based on that strength that we've instilled in them. Whereas
So that's not going to take it.
they not. And so, like, how do we transfer that training and that strength to some of these young men out there? I know I said this last week that I'm not optimistic because of just the stuff that I've seen on social media. The perception, these young men's perception of marriage, the young men's perception of the role or their expectations of Black women. And so they seem to be intimidated. They're very dismissive of Black women with degrees. I know you see that they're very dismissive of Black women that are accomplished. They shy away from those kind of women. They want someone they call what, feminine and what, friendly, or I forgot the stupid terms they use. But they basically want someone who is, they're not going out and getting higher educated. So I don't know how they're finding someone who's less educated than they are. So that's what they're looking for, someone who's less educated, who's very obedient than they are. And so that's why you have this phenomenon, the passport brothers, because they're going over there trying to victimize or take advantage of less educated third world women and bring them back thinking that they're gonna be docile and meek. So they are shying away from Black women who have been stronger. So how do we change this phenomenon and instill some of this strength into these young boys? That's the.
One of the things I tell my son, education is big in my family.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you keep pushing yourself as far as you can go. So he's studying for his law school exams, okay? And then I said, once you get that exam and you pass and you become attorney so-and-so, then I want you to push even further. You just keep pushing yourself educationally so that he could be on the top of the food chain, if you will. And there's a lot of sisters who are already sitting up there waiting on him to come on up to the food chain. We got you. We got you. We got you. But this is a discussion that needs to go on. You know, this sounds like a piece that you're talking about needs to go on in the barbershop. You know, because I don't know if you go to the barbershop because you don't have any hair, but it needs to be a barbershop discussion to where, what do we do? Can we reverse the trend? You know, given how we've been indoctrinated.
Yeah. So yeah, I like I say, you see all these sisters, highly accomplished sisters, and we know the crew from, you know, the Supreme Court justices and university presidents and vice presidents, and we know the whole crew, and we know who their spouses are. And so again, is the onus on Black men, because when these highly accomplished women look around, there's no compatible spouses, or I shouldn't say none, but I mean, most likely they are taken. And so there is a dearth of Black men on that same intellectual and economic level. Right?
Okay. So with that being said, we may have to do a day 3. But with that being said, we want to thank everybody for listening in on this conversation. Please put your comments out there, because as a researcher, I look at those comments and I really start thinking about what was said, what was written. can it be expanded even more so? So don't be afraid to put your comments out there. Good, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so again, welcome to. We say thank you for listening to the show, and we will get back with you next week. Bye bye.